There's obviously already a few sleep and dreaming icebergs on the internet, but there's nothing like specifically for dreams and lucid dreaming. So I was like, I'll just create my own thing. And I'm not gonna waste any time. I'll just get into yapping about the fucking dreaming iceberg. But I will say a lot of this lucid dreaming stuff does get like really weird later on. So just bear with me. I'll try and simplify it because like I am the master simplifier, right? Also, if you've ever listened to me talk about dreams or lucid dreaming before, I'm probably going to be repeating a lot of shit, so I'm sorry about that. I guess I'll try and like timestamp it all and whatever. But on the first tier of the dream, the ultimate dream and lucid dreaming iceberg, tier 1, which is just like the wind above the iceberg, we have lucid dreaming techniques. And these are, as the name suggests, techniques that help you lucid dream by raising your awareness to levels that will make your brain realize it's in a dream. And there's two kind of methods that help you lucid dream, and then every lucid dreaming technique falls under these two methods. So basically, the two methods are wake-initiated lucid dreams and dream-initiated lucid dreams. A dream-initiated lucid dream is where you're already in a normal dream, so you're just walking around in a dream. You don't know you're in a dream, obviously, and then you realize you're in a dream while like in the middle of a dream. That's a dream-initiated lucid dream, and there's like dozens of techniques to achieve that. A wake-initiated lucid dream is when you enter straight from the waking state into a dream. So you lay down to sleep, you like do a wild technique, and that's what wild is, a wake-initiated lucid dream, and dialed is a dream-initiated lucid dream. So wild, you lay down, you go to sleep and enter straight into a fucking lucid dream, bro, as if you're teleporting. It's really cool. That's just lucid dreaming techniques. I'm not gonna go into detail on every single technique because that would annoy the fuck out of you, and like I've already made videos and shit on that anyways. So that's the first thing for lucid dreaming. The second thing is dream journaling. And all this is writing down your dreams you remember every morning. If you don't remember any dreams, you can just write down you didn't remember anything, and this will kind of force your brain to put more focus on dreams, and then it will make you remember more dreams in a few days. And this is really important, writing down your dreams for dreaming and lucid dreaming in general, because you're actually already having like fucking 5 or more dreams a night, but you're probably just not remembering them. And once you start writing down your dreams, any that you remember at all, it will kind of like force your brain to put more focus on dreams. And when that happens, you'll just start remembering more and more and more shit. You don't even need to be interested in lucid dreaming to start dream journaling. When I was at my peak tryhard lucid dreaming, I was spending like over an hour dream journaling every day because I was remembering so many dreams. So this is done mainly by lucid dreamers, but you can also do this if you just like want to kind of get some insights into your dreams, or you just want to look at all the cool shit you're doing every night, because you're having like over an hour worth of dreams every single night. So once you start dream journaling, you'll begin remembering them. It doesn't matter where you dream journal. It can be an app, it can be in a real book. It doesn't fucking matter, but that's dream journaling. The next one is hypnagogic hallucinations. And hypnagogic hallucinations, hypnagogia, firstly, it's like the state between waking and asleep. So hypnagogic hallucinations is when, I don't know if you've had this shit, but like maybe you're falling asleep and you suddenly feel like you're falling, or you suddenly hear a loud noise or some shit, or you hear something that's not actually real and it kind of like jolts you awake. That's a hypnagogic hallucination. I don't know if you've had that. It's very common. The opposite is called hypnopompic hallucinations, I think, which is when you're waking up. I don't know why they separated that shit. It's the same fucking thing. It's the same exact thing, bro. Hypnagogic hallucinations, it's when you're in hypnagogia, the state between waking and asleep. And yeah, you can just hallucinate noises, see flashing lights and shit. It's interesting. Some people also learn to like stay aware during this state and kind of watch the hypnagogic hallucinations. A lot of lucid dreamers will use this as well to help them kind of fall asleep with consciousness and enter straight into a lucid dream. So it's interesting. The next one is sleepwalking slash sleep talking. Now, this is obviously, you already know what that is. It's when you're kind of in the deeper stages of sleep, when you're not dreaming, and of course your body kind of, or you start walking around or you start talking, and then the next morning you have no memory of it. This isn't that common. It's more common with children, and it can run in the family. So if your parents used to sleepwalk or sleepwalk a lot, you're more likely to sleepwalk or sleep talk. I've not had much experience with this. My brother, when he lived here, he used to sleep talk. Like, it was really fucking weird. In the next room at night, I could always just hear like whispering. Like, I don't know what the fuck he was doing. I just heard he kind of talked in his sleep. It was weird. I never kind of understood what he was saying. I didn't really sleepwalk as a child. The one time I did was like, I was probably like 6 years old, and I went downstairs at like 4 a.m. and just started fucking watching TV, bro. Like, the next morning, my dad told me about it and I had no memory of it, of course. And he was like so confused because I just started watching TV. I don't know why, but it was weird. So that's kind of the first tier. Nothing too strange. Techniques, dream journaling, blah, blah, blah. Then we go to tier 2. And to start off tier 2, is the first thing is 90% of lucid dreaming information is trash, bro. If I do say so myself. The information about lucid dreaming is fucking ass. Like, if you're trying to lucid dream, and of course you're gonna use the internet, YouTube, TikTok, blah, 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 to learn to lucid dream, you're probably gonna fuck yourself up with shit information. Everyone does it. I did it. And the reason why is that everyone's brains are so different, and lucid dreaming is one of the hardest skills to learn, I would say, because if you have the wrong information, and it's easy to get the wrong information, since a lot of people will have they'll have an experience in a lucid dream that's obviously just for them, but then they, for some fucking reason, assume that that lucid dreaming experience they have applies to everyone else, as if all our brains follow some universal fucking dream laws or something. I'll explain what I mean. So, for example, if I have a lucid dream, I realize I'm in a dream today, and I go look in a mirror, because I just want to look in a mirror, and I see a fucking demon in the mirror. It's so scary. Oh my god, I looked in a dream mirror. It's a demon. And so I wake up, and since I looked in a mirror and saw a demon, I assume that's just how everyone's lucid dreams work, right? So I go on Reddit, and I start typing. This is kind of like, I'm kind of going on a rant, but I go on Reddit and start typing, I saw a demon in the dream mirror. And then everyone else will see that, and they will for some reason assume we all have the same dream laws. So next time they're in a lucid dream, if they look in a dream mirror, their brain is going to remember that Reddit post, and it's going to activate this expectation, and they're going to see a demon in the dream mirror. Then they're going to go on Reddit and be like, oh, I saw it too in my lucid dream. And then it's just a never ending fucking loop where everyone's dreams and lucid dreams are getting trolled, and a bunch of the lucid dreaming techniques as well are just like, they're just based on people's fucking like subjective experiences, and a lot of them are arse. That's why ChatGPT and all these AI chatbots are also shit at teaching you lucid dreaming, because they're trained on this retarded information, bro. Like, do not use any AI for lucid dreaming info unless it's like fine-tuned on some shit. So yeah, that's just my rant. I always talk about it. People don't realize the top kind of clickbaity lucid dreaming videos on YouTube or TikTok are mostly all bullshit, and it's just like, it's just stuff from Reddit from people who don't even lucid dream, and no one knows that. Like, people start lucid dreaming and they just click on the first clickbait shit they see, and it messes them up for like 2 years. Anyways, the next one is sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation is obviously when you're not getting the required amount of sleep. I thought I should mention this because it kind of links in with some stuff I'm going to talk about later. But being sleep deprived, people like think it's a joke. People laugh about that shit. You'll pull up at school with all your friends and it's like, bro, I got like 4 hours of sleep. I'm so fucked. It's like, bro, you were ruining your skin. You're going to put on weight from losing sleep. You're gonna feel like you're crazy. People start hallucinating when they're sleep deprived, bro. And I'm pretty sure there's several studies showing that being sleep deprived is equivalent. Sorry, I just like spat at you. I'm pretty sure there's a few studies showing being sleep deprived is equivalent to like smoking 2 joints or some shit. And as a former heavy weed addict, heavy weed smoker myself, I'll tell you that when I've been extremely sleep deprived, it is exactly the same as smoking like the strongest fucking weed ever. That's how bad it is. And in fact, your brain so desperately needs sleep that if you go for long periods without sleep deprivation, there's studies that show your brain will do anything it can to get sleep. Even if you're driving a fucking car or you're flying a plane, your brain will start going into like mini naps, bro, to like get you asleep. Like, it's fucked. So I just thought I should mention that because I said it links in with some shit. The next one is basic dream control. And what I mean by that is when you have a lucid dream, obviously you can control the dream, and that's dream control, like flying, using superpowers, fucking someone, teleporting, really just becoming lucid, realizing you're dreaming and walking around is dream control in of itself. And there's a common misconception that when you start lucid dreaming, you're like a god. You have unlimited control. You can do anything you want. And that's a lot of the times that's not true. Now, some people may end up lucid dreaming and be extremely good at it and be able to be a god from their very first lucid dream. But for most people, dream control is actually a separate skill to lucid dreaming that they need to practice over time. Like, for example, when I started lucid dreaming, I could not fly. I literally could not fly. I had to practice flying over several lucid dreams and get dream characters, which I'll talk about next, to help me fly. So yeah, basic dream control is just doing basic shit. The next one is lucid dream characters, which I just mentioned. These are the characters in your dreams, normal dreams and lucid dreams. Your dream characters, they don't necessarily, I know there's a thing people yap about your brain can't create new characters, blah, blah, blah. Your brain can create new fucking characters, bro. So you can meet new people in your dreams. You can have conversations with them. You don't always know what they're gonna say next. You can talk with the people in your dreams, even if you're not lucid, right? And it'll be like a normal conversation with a real person. You don't know what they're gonna say. The intelligence of dream characters can range from like extremely retarded, aka me, to like extremely intelligent, and they can almost sometimes seem as if they're smarter than you and they know more shit than you. Of course, since I've lucid dreamt for like many years, I've had a lot of interesting interactions with dream characters, not just fucking them. I've had some interesting conversations with them. That's a whole other like fucking thing. The whole dream character thing. I talk about that so much, but that's that. The next one, melatonin supplements. Now, of course, your brain naturally produces this thing called melatonin when it is getting dark, and the melatonin makes you sleepy and helps you sleep. So a lot of people with like sleep issues will take melatonin supplements that like produces melatonin in your brain. This links in with dreams because melatonin actually suppresses REM sleep. And I should have mentioned this earlier, but REM sleep is rapid eye movement sleep. And that's, I'm not going to go into the details, but that's kind of the stage of sleep where you're having all your dreams in rapid eye movement sleep, right? Taking melatonin suppresses rapid eye movement sleep. And if I'm correct, enters you into like deeper sleep. But since taking melatonin represses REM sleep, your brain kind of needs to catch up on the dreams it missed from taking melatonin. So later on in the night, like the last few hours before you wake up in the morning, you may notice you have more vivid dreams. So a lot of people who take melatonin talk about how they have like really vivid dreams and shit. That's because it's actually repressing your dreams and stopping you from dreaming like the first half of the night. And that so your brain has to catch up on it, and it gives you a bunch more dreams like later on, blah, blah, blah. That's level 2, that's tier 2, nothing too strange. And then we move on, actually, let me drink some water. Then we move on to tier 3. shit starts getting interesting here, bro. Shit starts getting interesting here. First off, on tier 3, we have dreamviews.com. And I need to mention this because a lot of the weirder stuff on the lower levels of the iceberg is from this website. So basically, dreamviews.com, it's kind of like a really niche lucid dreaming forum. It was one of the first ever lucid dreaming communities on the internet that kind of got big among lucid dreamers, like way before lucid dreaming YouTube, way before lucid dreaming TikTok. This is where all the lucid dreamers went. So that's why a lot of the really like extreme, weird, fucking like really interesting stories that no one knows about in terms of dreams and lucid dreaming is from dreamviews.com, because a lot of the members on that have been lucid dreaming for like 20, 30 years, fucking decades. Is that the definition of a decade? Yeah, decades. They've been lucid dreaming for decades. I just need to mention that. If you go on dreamviews.com, you'll find a lot of really interesting stories and a lot of great lucid dreaming tutorials and dream tutorials on and everything that I'll mention later is on dreamviews.com. So I had to mention that. The next one is false awakening loops. Now, a false awakening is when you dream about waking up. For example, you wake up, you go to like get dressed, you have a shower, you brush your teeth, maybe you go to school or work, and then you actually wake up because you weren't actually getting ready or shit like that. You were having a false awakening. And you've probably had this before. I don't know if you had, but it's very, very common. It's not abnormal at all. But you can get into a false awakening loop in normal dreams and lucid dreams. Once again, if you've had that, that's not abnormal. That's when you wake up, you wake up, you wake up, and you just keep waking up. You wake up in your bed, you get up, then you wake up in your bed again, you wake up in your bed again. It does end, obviously. I've had this, the most I've had is like 10. I remember there was one time where I was lucid dreaming and I started having a false awakening loop, and every time I woke up, I would like wake up in my bed again, but I was actually still in a dream. And after like the 8th false awakening, I was like, this is getting fucking concerning. I kept walking out of my hallway, bro, and I was like, this is not good. Am I ever gonna wake up? And I started getting like kind of scared. Thankfully, I did wake up. I don't remember the name of this guy, but there was one dude who, I think it was like in the 1800s. He just came, I think he was like in surgery. So he was kind of asleep, right? And he claimed he had a false awakening loop of like 100 false awakenings. So I don't know if that was real, but can you fucking imagine that, bro? Just waking up 100 times. Also, it's annoying because it feels like you just reset your progress in a video game. Like you woke up, you got ready, you had a shower and all that shit, then you wake up again. It's like you just wasted all that fucking time. Anyways, the next one is sleep paralysis. You've probably heard of that. It's when your body is paralyzed during rapid eye movement sleep, which is the stage of sleep I mentioned earlier when you're having all the dreams. Your body is paralyzed every single night. So it's not actually weird. What's weird is when you experience being aware during sleep paralysis, and that's when your kind of mind wakes up, but your body still thinks it's asleep, so it's still paralyzed. That's when you experience sleep paralysis. You actually, since you have dreams every night and your body doesn't want to act out the dreams, it paralyzes your body to make sure you don't go like walking around and shit. If you have regular sleep paralysis, that's a medical like anomaly and you need to go to a fucking doctor. I see a lot of people all the time. People come to me talking about how they have sleep paralysis and it's so bad. I'm like, bro, you need to see a doctor. I've had sleep paralysis a lot. Generally it's scary. I find that the difference between sleep paralysis and lucid dreaming, I think, is that sleep paralysis is harder to control. So even if you know you're in sleep paralysis, I still feel like it's harder to make it nice. So a lot of the time you're gonna see like scary hallucinations and shit. There was one time I was younger where I had a blissful sleep paralysis experience. I was maybe like 6 years old and I woke up and my room was filled with stuffed animals, and it felt really nice. So it is actually possible to have nice sleep paralysis, and I've seen more stories about that. So it's not necessarily going to be scary. You're also not necessarily going to even hallucinate anything. You could just be like paralyzed, right? So that's interesting. If a lucid dreaming, right, is not going to give you sleep paralysis, that's another thing I should mention. A lot of people are scared to lucid dream because they think for some reason it'll give them sleep paralysis. That will never happen. I know people who have hundreds of lucid dreams who've never had one episode of sleep paralysis. But honestly, it's interesting. And if you end up getting sleep paralysis, that's a free lucid dream if you play your cards right, bro. If you get sleep paralysis, if you ever get it, the next time you do, stay completely still. Don't struggle. Just push through, bro. Trust me, push through and you will quickly fall back asleep because your body thinks it's still asleep. You'll fall back asleep, enter straight into a lucid dream. So actually, sleep paralysis can be very useful if you want a lucid dream. The next one is dream incubation, and this is choosing what to dream about. This doesn't necessarily have anything to do with lucid dreams. You could incubate a completely normal dream about like someone you want to see, or a lot of time people will incubate a dream about a problem they're trying to solve. I've done that a few times. You kind of just do it by setting intention to dream about a specific thing. So you could tell yourself before bed, I'm gonna dream about this hot person I want to fuck. I don't know, whatever it is. Or like, I don't know, like this design problem I have that I need to solve. Tell yourself you would dream about that. Set intention to dream about it before bed, and that will just raise your chances of incubating a dream. It does not have to be a lucid dream. A lot of people will incubate dreams and not give a shit about lucid dreaming. It's still interesting. You can incubate dreams about specific places you want to go, people you want to talk to. The most important thing with dream incubation I've seen is that you stay consistent. You're not necessarily going to have the dream you want to have on the very first night you try it. So you need to like keep at it. You need to stay consistent. Slow motion better than no motion. That's what they say, bro. The next one is fake memories. Now, if you're not really into dreams much, maybe you've never experienced this, but if you kind of have paid attention to your dreams, you may have had this, and that is that your dream brain can be scarily good at creating fake memories. What I mean by that is you can have a dream. This generally happens in normal dreams, not lucid dreams, but it can happen in lucid ones. For example, you can have a dream where you go and meet a new person that you've never seen in real life. You don't know this motherfucker. You've never glanced at his face, but your brain can quickly come up with like a fake memory of how this was like your childhood friend and you haven't seen him in 5 years. And within the span of like 2 seconds, your brain can create this whole plot about how you used to have all fun and like sleepovers and like, I don't know, fucking hit someone in the sandpit. I don't know, like, you know what I mean though? Your brain can just come up with very elaborate fake memories that feel like real memories in like a split second. It's actually crazy. Since I've focused on my dreams a lot, I've experienced this so much. It's crazy. I don't really know how your brain does that. I don't know anything about it, but it's not abnormal. It's just interesting. The next one is lucid dreaming crimes. I don't know, why did I write that? I didn't really, that's exactly what it sounds like. Lucid dreaming crimes, which is like committing questionable acts in your lucid dreams. Obviously, since you have the freedom to do anything in your lucid dreams, you can do anything you want. There's going to be people who are committing crimes, right, in their lucid dreams. And for me personally, I'm not going to judge you. I don't care. I don't give a fuck what you do in your lucid dreams. I don't mind if you're doing the most diabolical, fucking disgusting, horrific thing ever, because it's your head. It's my head. I don't want to be told what I should do in a dream. I'm not going to tell you what you can do in a dream, bro. Do what the fuck you want. I think I wrote this because I've seen some people in like lucid dreaming discords and lucid dreaming communities talk about how they're doing some really like questionable shit. So I thought I would mention it. It's things like killing people, robbing people. That's not too bad. Like, I've killed people in a lucid dream, not really for fun, more like in self-defense and just to like see what it's like. You know what? If it stops you, if doing some shit in a lucid dream stops you from doing it in real life, please go do it. There's some shit I can't even say here that I've seen some people say they're doing, but maybe you can imagine it in your head. I remember there was this one guy, who joined my lucid dreaming Discord once, and what can I say? He had a questionable attraction to his twin sister. Okay, we're not gonna talk about that. Let's just skip to the next one. Improving skills in your lucid dreams. So yeah, that's a thing. If you didn't know, you can improve skills in a lucid dream. You can literally, if you play a sport and you play that sport in your lucid dream, or just in your normal dream, it doesn't have to be lucid. If you have a dream about doing something you do in real life, you'll find that you actually improve that skill. There's been several studies on this. There's been one where I think they did it with dart throwing, and they showed that people who became lucid and then started throwing darts ended up better at the dart throwing thing, right? So yeah, and it's another thing for athletes as well. I actually saw, I don't remember the name of it, but I saw the other day there's a whole website dedicated to teaching athletes how to lucid dream because of how useful lucid dreaming training is. It's like the Matrix, it's like the Matrix when like fucking Neo is plugged into like the computer and it's uploading like a training program to his mind and he can go in the simulation and like do kung fu and shit. It's literally like that. Why did I write that? Also on another kind of related note, I wrote down that if you have sex in a lucid dream, like the blood will literally be pumped to your cock. Because if you're having sex in real life, bro, is that related? I guess that's kind of related. Okay, I wanted to make the point that things you do in a lucid dream will literally affect your body. Because if I'm correct, your brain can't tell if what's happening in the dream is real or not. So if you're doing something in a dream, your brain thinks it's actually happening. It will release the same chemicals in your brain. It will make you better at doing the thing if you practice in a dream. That can be useful with dream incubation as well, right? What if you incubate a dream about like you playing piano or some shit? It doesn't have to be a lucid one. You're still gonna get better at playing piano. The next one I have is wild without loss of consciousness. If you don't know about lucid dreaming, you're like, what the fuck is that? But remember I mentioned earlier, the very first one, lucid dreaming techniques, lucid dreaming methods. One of these methods is wild, awake initiated lucid dream. And that's when you go kind of straight into a lucid dream. Actually, I need a piss. Okay, so wild is that lucid dreaming method, right? Where you fall asleep while retaining some awareness, retaining some consciousness, and then to like straight into a lucid dream. But the thing is with wild, a lot of the time you actually will kind of, I know this sounds retarded, like against what I just said, but a lot of the times you will actually lose consciousness for like a time, and then you'll realize you're dreaming and become lucid once you're already in the dream. And that will happen because your brain has more awareness from like you trying to focus as you're falling asleep. I don't know if that makes sense. It's kind of like a more in-depth thing. But wild without loss of consciousness, what I mean by that is when you have awake initiated lucid dream without any loss of consciousness. So for example, I had this one time where I woke up from a dream, but I just closed my eyes and within like 2 seconds, I was back asleep and I opened my eyes and I was sitting on a beach. Like it was the craziest fucking thing ever. And that's what I mean by that is a lot of lucid dreamers over like many kind of weeks or months or whatever of practicing this lucid dreaming method are able to do that. So they literally close their eyes, open their eyes, and they're in a fucking dream. It feels like you're teleporting. That's kind of a more rare thing for that people can achieve, but it is possible and it's cool as fuck. The next one, lucid nightmares. Now, I thought I should include this, but honestly, my view on this is that lucid nightmares, which I guess is like a scary dream, right? When you know you're in a dream. So you know you're in a dream, but you're still going through a nightmare. I think this is only real when someone has a misunderstanding of how dreams work, and I talk about this a lot, is that if you ever find yourself, bro, if you ever find yourself in a dream, or like a nightmare, you realize you're in a dream. If you run from the monster or fight the monster or act like a little bitch in front of the monster, bro, the monster will just be scarier and scarier because your dreams work off your expectations. So lucid nightmares, it's just if you alter your expectations and kind of ignore the monster, ignore the scary thing, or become friends with it, or start having sex with it, or do whatever to alter your brain's expectations, then it won't become a nightmare anymore. Although I thought I should mention that I guess it kind of like when you're a kid, you may have times as well when you're in a nightmare so scary you realize you're dreaming and then wake yourself up. I've had that a lot. I know that's not weird for children, so I thought I should mention that. But after that, we move on to tier 4. Tier 4. And here it starts getting a little weirder. Just bear with me, please. And to start off tier 4, we have the void. This is the thing that is not really talked about much. And I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what it is properly. But it's kind of like a state between waking and asleep. And maybe you've experienced, a lot of lucid dreamers have experienced this, but even then, not all of them. It's this thing where you wake up from a dream or a lucid dream, but you're kind of in this black void, your black nothingness, and you have no body. And I don't know what exactly it is. I guess you're technically still in a dream, right? But I've had this, and I find it's really easy to reform a lucid dream from this void state. So if I'm in a lucid dream, and I wake up, sometimes I think I'm like just looking at my closed eyelids, like I'm awake, but my eyes are closed. But then I realize I'm actually still asleep and in this kind of void state. And from there, it's really easy to like reform a dream. I don't know why, but when you're in this void, if you like imagine yourself touching a wall, you'll find that this wall very quickly like forms. And I don't know if this is making sense, because if you've not heard about the void, this probably sounds really weird. But basically all you need to know is that it's just this kind of weird state between dreaming and asleep and awake, where you're just like in a void of nothingness. You have no body. It can also be very blissful and peaceful as well. It's interesting. The next one is stress nightmares. These are nightmares you get when you're stressed as fuck. And I don't know if you've had this, but I guess it makes sense. When you're extremely stressed, your brain is way more likely to have nightmares. I've seen some motherfuckers ask me, like, how do I get nightmares? And I'm like, bro, just get stressed as fuck. When I get stressed, I have the most horrific things I don't even want to talk about or think about. So that's a thing. The next one, dopamine dreams. Now, dopamine dreams is obvious. Dopamine's a thing in your brain that's... What is dopamine? I don't know. I guess it's about like rewarding you for... It's like your brain releases dopamine when you like... When I get a bunch of comments on my video. You know what dopamine is, right? And if you take supplements to increase your dopamine, because there's supplements that do that, you'll notice that you have much more like action-packed dreams. I took a dopamine supplement like ages ago because I saw someone say this. I didn't notice much difference. I think I probably should have taken more. But that's kind of, it can be dangerous if you take too much dopamine, but you should know that if you have a lot of dopamine in your brain, like during the night when you're having dreams, you're gonna have a lot more like action-packed dreams that are about like triumphing over some enemy or some shit. I found out about that recently and thought it was interesting. And the next one is dream guides. And dream guides, they're a thing that you'll only know about if you've been in these really like niche, obscure lucid dreaming communities. And dream guides are basically dream characters someone will create to help them in a lucid dream and guide them in a dream. So for example, if you're new to lucid dreaming, a lot of the time people will create a dream guide, which is basically a dream character that helps them with dream control. It can help them with shit in a lucid dream. It's kind of like a mentor thing people create for themselves, or like a spirit guide. I think that kind of links in. I remember when I was younger and started getting into lucid dreaming a lot, I created my own dream guide. Her name was Tori. So like a girl in my head, she was useless as fuck. So that shit did not work for me, but it's just an interesting thing some lucid dreamers do. The next one is seeing new colors. I've never done this. I obviously can't comprehend it, but you'll see if you start searching up about lucid dreaming stories, there's a lot of people who claim they've been able to see new colors in a lucid dream, colors that they can't even describe. Because think of a new color right now, you can't even comprehend that shit at all. So yeah, I don't know if that's true, but there's a lot of stories on like Reddit, right, of people seeing new colors in a lucid dream. Of course, it's a lucid dream. Anything's possible, which I'll talk about soon. Anything's possible. Seeing a new color though, I don't know. I've never experienced it. But the next one we have is recurring dream character. And that kind of links in with the dream guide. By recurring dream character, I mean a person in your dreams that you see over several lucid dreams. So when most people have a dream or a lucid dream, and they come across a person in their dreams, they will assume that they're never going to see that dream character again once they wake up, right? It's just a one-time dream thing. You can't see them again. That's not true. You can create dream characters or come across dream characters over several lucid dreams. I did this because I was lonely as fuck. I still am. Like, I did this when I was younger. I created several dream friends. Some of them I've seen since I was like 12, and I even have lucid dreams now where I see those same dream characters. So if you didn't know that, you can create reoccurring dream characters. After that, we move on to the 5th tier. And to start off the 5th tier, we're gonna talk about being trapped in a dream. So, being trapped in a dream, obviously you can't technically be trapped in a dream. You'll always wake up. But I've had this, and I don't know if you've had this when you're a kid or when you were younger. A lot of people have, where they may be in a nightmare or a scary situation. They realize they're in a dream and they somehow cannot wake up. I don't know what causes this. But just in some cases, it's really hard to wake up. Generally, when I want to wake up from a lucid dream, or when I was a kid and in a scary nightmare, I would kind of close my eyes and like move my eyes around for some reason, and that would wake me up. But there's been some cases where that did not work. I don't know why, but yeah. The next one is lucid dreaming machine. Now, there is so far no lucid dreaming machines or devices that can reliably induce lucid dreams with a high success rate. A lot of them are just fucking scams. If you've been on TikTok or fucking, Instagram Reels a lot, I don't know, you'll see a lot of people will sell lucid dreaming masks, which are like sleep masks you put over your eyes, and it flashes a fucking light in the middle of the night that will apparently make you realize you're dreaming. These are shit. These are all fucking scams. They are just arse. However, recently there is a company called Prophetic AI using AI and like neural networks and recent advances in technology. They've been using this to create some kind of headband that does not flash light at you in the middle of the night, but it actually sends like waves into your brain to apparently like wake you up. Now, we don't know, and they've received also like $1 million in funding. I've actually talked about this company ages ago. We don't know if this is like legit or it will work out right. It could just be one of those companies that like builds a bunch of hype and it never turns out to be anything. However, if there was a company that was going to create a reliable lucid dream machine, it would be this one. They've received millions of dollars, like over $1 million in funding. They look like they're seriously doing some shit. They're using the recent advances in AI to make like this headband. So it could be interesting. We need to keep looking into it. I sometimes check their Twitter. I've not seen much news on it recently, but they're hiring new people and shit. So they're really doing this. The next one is shape-shifting in a lucid dream. Now, or just, it can be in a normal dream as well. I know this is just kind of a basic dream control skill. It just kind of links in with every other lucid dream control thing. However, I wanted to give shapeshifting its own mention because you can get up to really interesting shit with shapeshifting. What I mean by that is you can shapeshift into things that your brain can't even comprehend right now, but you can somehow experience in a dream. What I mean by that is I talked about this before. I shapeshifted into water and I felt like water. I can't even fucking describe it to you right now. Like, I did not have a human body. I was water going down like a drain. I've also shapeshifted into birds where I did not feel my human limbs. It felt like I had wings. I, once again, cannot describe it. I've never done this, but I've heard of people like shapeshifting into the other gender as well, or the other sex. So there's a lot of interesting shit you can do with shapeshifting, even if you don't care about Twilight and don't want to become a werewolf or some shit. I totally didn't do that when I was younger. You can still shapeshift into interesting things. Like, what was I? Oh, like objects as well. You can become fucking objects. I've heard about some motherfucker becoming a clock, bro. Can you imagine becoming a clock? No, you probably can't. But in a lucid dream, you can experience that. The next one is an existential crisis. Now, by existential crisis, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. After you have a lucid dream, this won't necessarily happen to everyone, but it happens to a lot of people. When you have a lucid dream, you may start questioning reality. You may start getting into like philosophy. You may have a fucking existential crisis. What is reality? What is real? I just woke up from a lucid dream where I was walking around in my head and talking to people as if they were like real humans, right? So when you have that kind of experience after a lucid dream, you wake up and start questioning fucking reality. Now, this won't happen to everyone, but for a lot of people who are already prone to be interested in that kind of philosophy shit, they will wake up and be like, what the fuck? And that kind of happened to me as well. I really started, I don't really look into philosophy now, but I really started getting into more philosophy like ideas and shit after having lots of lucid dreams. So that's interesting. And the next one is REM rebound, and this is rapid eye movement sleep rebound. Basically, your brain needs to have dreams every night, but there's certain substances and supplements and just things in general which repress your REM sleep, so will make sure you don't have dreams. For example, one of these is weed. So if you smoke a bunch of weed before bed, this will repress your REM sleep, which means if you get really stoned, you probably won't remember that many dreams. However, the REM rebound effect is when your brain has to catch up on the missed REM sleep you missed. So for example, alcohol is another REM suppressant. You drink alcohol, you're probably not going to remember that many dreams. However, once you quit this thing, once you quit weed, once you quit alcohol, your brain will have like a REM debt and it'll be like, oh shit, I need to catch up on the REM sleep. Thus doing the REM rebound effect. So for example, if you quit smoking a bunch of weed, a lot of people notice they have really, really vivid dreams after stopping weed. That's because that's the REM rebound effect in effect. And your brain's catching up on all the REM rebounds. The next one is working in your sleep. That sounds so bad. But there was a recent study showing that a lucid dreamer, who I will mention later in the lower weirder tiers, there was this one lucid dreamer who was able to like turn on a kettle from his lucid dream. I don't remember exactly how he did it. It may have been using eye signals, because when you're in rapid eye movement sleep, aka in a dream, your eye movements are the same in the dream as they are in real life. So I don't know if he used that or like something to do with his muscle, but he was able to control things like in his kitchen through the lucid dream. And so when that kind of study came out, there was talk of being able to work in your dreams and work in your lucid dreams. Can you fucking imagine how bad that would be? Like you like you go to get a job at a company and they're like, oh nah, you gotta work in your dreams as well, bro. Hopefully that's never a thing, but I just thought I should mention it. Another one, lucid dreaming supplements. That's the next thing. So there are a bunch of dream and lucid dreaming supplements that just affect your dreams and can increase the likelihood of you having a lucid dream. A lot of these increase the acetylcholine in your brain, which is a neurotransmitter that has to do with like your state of like wakefulness. So if you get a supplement that can increase acetylcholine, if I'm correct, then that will increase your chances of realizing you're in a dream from raised awareness. Supplements like that are galantamine. That's an Alzheimer's medication, very commonly used by lucid dreamers, because I've seen people who wake up in the middle of the night, take galantamine, and talk about how they have like a 90% chance of having a lucid dream. And I actually have a whole book on this. It's over there. I have a whole book on lucid dreaming supplements, because there's this guy who wrote this book called Advanced Lucid Dreaming, who claims with the perfect combination of supplements, he could have advanced lucid dreams, which lasted up to an hour, where he could control like anything in the dream. And it's just like, there's a whole, I'm not going to go into the whole supplement thing, but there's a whole lot of supplements you can take for lucid dreaming. One of these as well, which I mentioned earlier, was dopamine. Now, taking dopamine supplements won't necessarily give you lucid dreams, but it can increase your dream control by increasing your confidence. So if you are a lucid dreamer, but you find that you're really shit at controlling things in a dream, then if you take a dopamine supplement, which I am not recommending, by the way, I am not recommending you take that, but if you do, that could increase the level of control you have over your lucid dreams. And please do not take this shit. Or if you do, research before you do, because too much dopamine is like very, very dangerous. The next one after that is persistent realms. This is another thing most people don't know about unless you're in these lucid dreaming communities. And a persistent realm is a whole world you create in your lucid dreams that you can go back to anytime you want. The story follows it doesn't follow a plot, but it kind of follows on from when you were last in the dream in the persistent realm. The characters here remember you. The story continues. You can keep going back to the realm. Your actions have consequences. It's basically just creating a whole dream world. So you can have a whole world in your dreams you just go back to for years. So it's interesting. There's a lot more detail on that. I'm not going to go too in depth into it because like I don't want to bore you. But anyways, the next tier is tier 6. And to start off tier 6, we have omni-lucids. And omni-lucids are people who are lucid in every single dream. So you have like 5 or more dreams a night. That means people who are omni-lucid are having like 5 or more lucid dreams every night. It doesn't matter what dream they're in, they know they're dreaming. Some people seem to naturally have this, right? I saw some person who was an omni-lucid, or so they claimed. So every dream they had, they knew they were dreaming, and they talked about how they actually got bored of it because they had done anything they wanted. Like they were a fucking god, and they've had so many lucid dreams, it was actually getting annoying. Now, there are some people who are not omni-lucid, but can apparently train themselves to be omni-lucid through really like extreme lucid dreaming techniques that have to do with them being like aware throughout the whole day. So anytime they're in a dream, they realize they're in a dream, right? The next one is falling in love with a dream character. I have totally not done this, but I see there's a lot of people who maybe they're lonely or some shit, or no one in real life can live up to their expectations, so they end up falling in love with the dream character. And I've seen some people having lucid dreams just to do this as well. I totally did not do that. The next one is dreams that are realer than real life. This can apply to normal dreams or lucid dreams. I think this is called hyperrealism as well. That's the word I found when I searched up about this. But I've experienced this, and it's hard to explain once again. A lot of these things are hard to explain if you've not experienced it yourself. But it is possible to have a dream or lucid dream that feels realer than real life. There was one time when I was 13 and I had a lucid dream. I looked around and it really felt more clearer. Everything was more vivid. My senses were just more defined than the real world. And I woke up and the real world just didn't seem as real as the dream just had. And I don't know how to describe it. You can get to this state of hyperrealism actually easy in a lucid dream, just by kind of looking around, because in a dream, the more focus you put on something, the clearer it becomes. So if you have a lucid dream and look around at things very closely and pay attention to your senses, you may end up experiencing this hyperrealism thing. It's interesting, but yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. The next one is time dilation, and this is tricking your brain into thinking you've been in a dream for longer than you actually have. For example, if you have a dream that is 20 minutes, but it feels like it lasted for like 2 hours or 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years. There are a lot of stories. I don't know how real all of them are. There's that one story about a lamp where like someone had a whole family for like years in a lucid dream, or not a lucid dream, a normal dream, and then they realized the lamp was like looking fuzzy in this room, and so it made them wake up and they were all depressed because they just lived like 20 years in a dream or some shit. There's a lot of stories like that. There's no concrete technique in a lucid dream to time dilating it right, although in a normal dream, a lot of the times time dilation can happen because of false memories. Remember I talked about false memories earlier? So your brain, since it can like within the span of 1 second create false memories of how you were like going to the store yesterday and doing all this shit an hour before, it can like kind of trick your brain into thinking more time has passed. My longest lucid dream was actually only the other day, and it felt like it lasted for an hour. I don't know how much of that was time dilation, or if that was like truly an hour. I don't imagine it was. Maybe it was like just 20 minutes, but it felt like an hour. I don't even know how people really pull that off on purpose, but it's interesting. The next one is dream advertising, and holy shit, I have been yapping for a long fucking time. But the next one is advertising in your dreams. This isn't really a thing right now, but I saw a few, like maybe 2 years ago, a group of scientists released like a letter of concern because some beer company was trying to incubate dreams of like their alcohol and like their products. Remember how I talked about earlier dream incubation, which was choosing what to dream about? There was this one beer company, which I don't remember the name of, who was trying to do this on people to essentially advertise in your dreams. So there are some companies working on what's called targeted dream incubation. And who knows, maybe when you have that kind of lucid dream headband thing I mentioned earlier, maybe they'll find a way to advertise in your dreams. Thankfully, it's not really a thing now, but like, we gotta watch out for that shit. It could become a thing. The next one is shared dreaming. Now, personally, I don't believe this is real. Shared dreaming, which of course is like multiplayer dreaming, entering into someone else's dreams, although there are lots of stories about this. And that's why I mentioned dreamviews.com, that kind of niche lucid dreaming forum earlier. Why I mentioned that is because there's a whole shared dreaming academy on dreamviews.com. They had a whole class of people who were learning to have shared dreams and multiplayer dreams. Obviously you'll find so many stories of people having shared dreams. I've actually talked to people who have told me, and I don't think they were lying, because I knew them, right? They weren't like trying to get attention. Who they told me in private of shared dreams they've had. I don't really know. My voice cracked. That's embarrassing. I'm never making a video again. Okay, I'm leaving. But no, I don't know what's up with that. I personally have never had that. And you know me. I mean, you don't know me. Maybe you do. I don't know. I've journaled like hundreds of dreams. I've never experienced a shared dream. So I don't know. The next one is becoming God. And like I said earlier, you're not always automatically a god in a lucid dream. What I mean by becoming God in a lucid dream is that if you reach the point, you can reach the point of having 100% control over everything. And when you reach that point of becoming God in your lucid dream, you have unlimited power. And actually, it seems very few people reach this state. Most lucid dreamers I know who've been lucid dreaming for years haven't reached this state or this point of being a god. They still have to like put in effort with dream control, and they sometimes fail their dream control. But imagine your fucking ego, bro, if you're lucid in every dream, and a god at the same time. So yeah, it's just, I don't know how to really reach that state. I couldn't give you good tips on reaching that god state in a lucid dream. A lot of lucid dreamers, that's the goal they're working towards, and not all of them reach it. Now we move on to tier 7. This is the second last tier. I've said every tier things get weird, but like, I guess they do kind of get a bit weird here. This is the first one of tier 7, level 7, beneath the waters, is dream recording. Now, due to recent advances in AI, there have been people that are able to kind of read your brainwaves and translate it into AI generated images. And this keeps getting better and better. And this may sound retarded, but I really do think within like 4 years, I bet there will be a dream recording machine. This would not have been possible before all the like recent AI advances. But because of that, we're now more easily able to read brainwaves and do shit like convert them into AI images. I've seen a few GitHub pages and like few programmers trying to work on this. I actually made a whole video on it. I'm not too fucking nerdy and I don't program, so I don't know shit about that. But there will be a fucking dream recording machine. I'm not just saying that. There will be. It's just a matter of when. It's a matter of when. So that's interesting. Prophetic dreams is the next one. Prophetic dreams, obviously dreams that can tell the future. Now, I've dream journaled so many dreams. I've personally not had a prophetic dream, but there are so many instances of people talking about how they have one. I was reading this book, Man and His Symbols, by that psychiatrist Carl Jung, I think that's how you pronounce his name. And he was like a psychiatrist. Did my voice just crack again? Fucking hell. He was a psychiatrist, and he has experience with prophetic dreams. For example, he said that he predicted World War II, or had dreams about World War II like a year before the war happened. There was also with prophetic dreams, I don't know what that is. He also talked about how there was one case of a girl who kept having dreams of like resurrection and death. And she was having all these weird dreams that like a 10-year-old girl wouldn't normally have. And then this girl ended up soon dying of an infectious disease. And Carl Jung kind of said maybe it was that her subconscious brain kind of knew what was about to happen, and her conscious brain didn't know that. And so it kind of picked up on it and gave her like a prophetic dream. Personally, I don't believe they're real. I've probably seen more evidence for shared dreaming and multiplayer dreaming than prophetic dreams. So I don't know. The next one is pain in dreams. It's obviously possible to feel real, genuine pain in dreams. A lot of the times it's like a really subtle feeling, like a kind of uncomfortable sensation. Maybe if you get cut in a dream, you'll kind of have a feeling there, but not real pain. However, you can feel real fucking pain in a dream. I remember one time, because I just wanted to see if I felt anything in a lucid dream, I smashed my fingers against a wall and they broke and they were all like crooked and shit, and it hurt so much. So it is possible to feel pain in dreams, 100%. I've heard some really bad stories about that. The next one is Michael Reduga. Now, this guy's actually the same guy who did the earlier study about being able to control like kettles and shit from your lucid dreams. He's done some very interesting lucid dreaming research. He's pretty well respected in like the study community of lucid dreams. However, he did something recently. He did something like a couple years ago, I think, where he drilled his head. He drilled his head with a household drill after practicing on sheep. I think dead sheep or something, if I'm correct. to implant a lucid dreaming implant into his brain. He lost a lot of blood, thankfully was fine, he got sent to the hospital, but yeah, he drilled his fucking head to implant something in his brain to help him lucid dream. I don't know if it had much success, but that's probably the craziest shit someone's ever done to have a lucid dream. The next one is dreaming a lifetime. Now, I kind of touched on this earlier. There are several stories of people having dreams about dreaming a whole lifetime. Like that one Lamp Reddit story about a guy who had like a whole family. I've also heard about lucid dreamers using time dilation to feel like they're living like 50 years in a dream. There was this one lucid dreamer, I think on dreamviews.com. I don't remember his name or the exact details, but he literally lived like 50 years, according to him, in a lucid dream. He had a wife, a whole family, and apparently after this period, he like made the dream, he made it like self-destruct so he wouldn't get like attached to his family. I don't know what it was. He somehow like destroyed the dream world. We of course don't know how true all these stories are, but because of time dilation, I would say it's possible. That's the end of that tier. Then we move to tier 8. Now, I will say in tier 8, I actually had 3 things, which I will combine into one because it all actually stems from one guy. And tier 8 just needs to be its whole separate tier with this one lucid dreaming motherfucker. And his name is Mylinus. I've talked about him before. I'm just going to call him Miles because I don't know if that's his real name. But there was this guy called Miles on dreamviews.com. His post kind of started out normal. He talked about how he was lonely and he was trying to like sleep for like a lot of hours a day, like more than usual, like 10 hours or more a day. And he started making all these weird posts about how he wanted to have infinite nightmare that never ended. He even made a tutorial on Dreamviews on something called advanced vision control, which he claimed was a way to help you control your dreams by making you able to hallucinate anything in real life. So he literally made a tutorial on how to hallucinate anything you want. I'm not going to go into in depth on that here because that's like a whole fucking 20-minute thing. I literally made a whole video on this guy. But he taught himself how to hallucinate to have better dream control. He also claimed he was going to dream the infinite dream, and he wrote a goodbye letter to like his relatives and his family because he was gonna have a dream that lasted forever, according to him, and he never wanted to wake up. And that was his last ever post. And in his last post, he also talked about how he wanted, this was another separate thing I made, being replaced by a dream character. He wanted to replace his consciousness with a dream character so he could keep dreaming forever. And what I mean by that is he wanted to fall asleep, dream, and somehow send somehow send like a dream character, another part of his subconscious brain, up to control his body. So if his family saw Miles, if his family saw him walking around, they would have no idea it wasn't actually him. It was just kind of like another part of his subconscious mind. I, of course, don't know what happened to him. No one knows what happened to Miles. The whole trail went cold after that. But it's interesting to think about, what if it is possible to replace your consciousness right now with a dream character? I could do that shit and you would never know. What if I pulled up to another video acting like completely different? And you know, if that ever happens, think about it, it may be a dream character that replaced my consciousness. I don't know if you're still listening to me. Yeah, I've been talking for so fucking long, my voice is dry. I maybe should have talked about this over like several different days. I hope it all made sense. I hope I didn't start like rambling about some weird shit and they got all like disconnected. But that is the ultimate dream and lucid dreaming iceberg. I don't know if I said earlier, there's so much shit to do with lucid dreaming. I could have kept adding and adding and adding to this iceberg thing, but then I never would have got to talk to you about it because it just would have never fucking gotten done. So this is just the shit I added now. There's so many things I could have added and probably missed out. But I love you. I love you. Like the video. Leave me a comment. I'll reply to that shit. Don't join the Discord in the description. Don't join the Discord. I love you.